If you're planning on building highly available and scalable web applications in Azure, and especially if you're using managed services, then the Azure Redis Cache could be very interesting for you, and it's got some support here for high availability. Now, if you're not a developer, you may have never heard of Redis Cache, so let's take a look at this architectural diagram and discuss why you would use it. So you can see here in this application architecture, we have a web front end, and the web front end stores its data in the backend data storage tier that's powered by Azure SQL or Cosmos DB. And the idea here is that if we have a busy web application that's constantly reading the same information out of the database, that's basically incurring a read operation. That's not very optimized. That's not very efficient. So we can deploy an Azure Redis Cache. This is a managed memory caching system, and those database reads or the information from the database can be stored in memory in the Redis Cache. And anytime we need to retrieve that information, we can just grab it out of memory out of Redis. So that removes the need for us to constantly tax the SQL Server or the Cosmos DB infrastructure, and it just makes for a more scalable, more performant web application. And with that, since this is a managed service, we do have a couple of ways that we can make this service redundant. So first, as you're provisioning your Redis Cache, what you can do here is you can pick a premium pricing tier, and that'll give you the ability to build a Redis cluster in a single region. And a cluster is just like it sounds. You've got multiple shards that you can create and basically spread your data across multiple backend instances or nodes. Once your Azure Redis Cache is built, you can navigate to that resource in the portal, go to the settings menu on the left, go down to Geo Replication. And in this area of the resource, you can actually replicate data from the Azure Redis Cache to an implementation in another region. So again, you would provision an Azure Redis Cache instance in another region, and then you could replicate the data over to the other region. So when the application fails over, the data is available in that other instance in the alternate region. So keep this service and these capabilities in mind if you think you might need to implement an Azure Redis Cache in your highly available application architectures. Next up, let's take a look at Azure Service Bus and our capabilities there to make it highly available.